Miguel had spent his entire life in and around the ocean. As a marine biologist and an experienced diver, he had seen almost everything the underwater world had to offer. He had swum alongside massive schools of fish, observed elusive deep-sea creatures, and even encountered sharks in their natural habitat. But nothing could have prepared him for what happened on that unforgettable day when a humpback whale took an unusual interest in him. The morning had been calm, the sea a glassy expanse of blue stretching endlessly in all directions. Miguel and his team had set out on their research vessel to collect data on marine life near a reef, a location well known for being a breeding ground for humpback whales. As they anchored a safe distance from the reef to avoid causing any damage, Miguel and another diver prepared their gear and slipped into the water, the cool embrace of the ocean welcoming them as they descended beneath the surface. Visibility that day was remarkable. Schools of vibrant fish darted around the reef, and the occasional sea turtle glided effortlessly past. They worked diligently, collecting samples and noting observations, but even in the midst of their focused tasks, Miguel couldn't help but appreciate the beauty of the world around him. It was days like these that reminded him why he had dedicated his life to marine biology. After a while, Miguel's diving partner signaled that he was heading back to the boat with the collected samples. Miguel decided to remain behind a little longer, soaking in the tranquility of the ocean. As an experienced diver, he had no concerns about being alone in these waters. However, he was about to learn that even the most seasoned expert could find themselves in unexpected and perilous situations. It began subtly. A pod of humpback whales passed by, their massive bodies moving with an elegant grace despite their immense size. It was always a privilege to witness these gentle giants in their natural habitat. But then, one of the whales did something unusual. It broke away from the pod and began swimming directly toward Miguel. At first, he wasn't alarmed. Humpback whales were known for their curiosity and intelligence. However, as the whale got closer, he realized that something was different. Each time he changed direction, the whale followed, mirroring his movements. Then it swam right up to him. Miguel reached out instinctively, and to his amazement, the whale allowed him to touch it. It was a moment of pure magic, a connection between human and animal that transcended words. But the wonder of the moment quickly gave way to confusion. The whale became more insistent, using its massive pectoral fin to nudge Miguel. At first it seemed playful, but as the nudges grew more forceful, Miguel started to feel uneasy. He tried to move away, but the whale persisted. Then, with a sudden and powerful motion, the whale used its nose to push him toward the surface. From the boat, his team watched in stunned silence as Miguel and the whale emerged from the depths. The sight of a fully grown humpback seemingly herding a diver was beyond anything they had ever witnessed. They had no idea how to react. What could they do against a creature that could weigh up to 40 metric tons? Miguel struggled against the whale's persistent nudging, but it was futile. In the water, he had no control. The whale was in charge. Just as he started to panic, something shocking happened. The whale opened its massive mouth and pulled him under the surface. From the boat, Miguel's team was horrified. They had just seen their friend disappear into the jaws of one of the ocean's largest creatures. They sprang into action, launching a smaller rescue vessel and racing toward the last place Miguel had been seen. But what could they do? There were no established rescue protocols for something like this. Keeping distance from whales was normally enough to ensure safety, but Miguel was already inside one. Minutes passed, and there was no sign of Miguel. The silence on the boat was deafening. The crew had no choice but to prepare for the worst. Just as they were about to call ocean rescue, they saw something that left them speechless. Miguel was lying on the deck of the boat, gasping for breath but completely unharmed. Confused and overwhelmed, everyone started asking questions at once. Miguel held up his hand, signaling for silence, before explaining what had happened beneath the waves. The whale had not attacked him. In fact, it had been trying to protect him. While he had been struggling to escape, he had failed to notice the true danger lurking nearby, a massive tiger shark, one of the ocean's most formidable predators. Humpback whales have been known to protect other sea creatures from predators, even placing themselves between potential prey and their attackers. It seemed that this whale had extended that protective instinct to a human. When Miguel had resisted her attempts to guide him away, she had no choice but to take drastic measures, enveloping him in her mouth and diving deeper to move him to safety. As the shark circled, the whale shielded Miguel beneath its massive pectoral fin, keeping him hidden from view. He had remained motionless, controlling his breathing as best as he could despite the fear surging through him. The tiger shark eventually lost interest and swam away, realizing that there was no easy meal to be had. Once the danger had passed, the whale gently maneuvered Miguel back toward the surface. When they were close enough to the boat, she lifted him with her nose, giving him the final push needed to reach safety. As soon as he was safely aboard, the whale disappeared into the deep. Miguel sat on the deck, processing what had just happened. He had spent his life studying marine animals, but never had he experienced anything like this. The intelligence and empathy displayed by the whale were beyond anything he had ever imagined. The team decided to call it a day and head back to shore, knowing they had just witnessed something extraordinary. Miguel's perspective on marine life had been forever changed. He had always believed in the intelligence of whales, but now he had experienced it firsthand. He had been saved by a creature that most would assume had no reason to care about him at all. The story of Miguel and the humpback whale spread quickly, captivating people around the world. It served as a reminder of the mysteries of the ocean and the deep connections that can exist between humans and the creatures that call it home. As he reflected on the experience, Miguel realized one thing for certain: he would never look at whales the same way again. They were more than just gentle giants of the sea. They were guardians of the deep, willing to protect even those who did not understand their intentions.